Hi guys, and welcome back to LPB Racing for the WEC Replica Championship on GT Sport. This is round 5 of our season at Monza, and this is race 1. So Division 1 are in the LMP cars and Division 2 are in the GTE cars. Let's have a look at the grid then. So Callum is on pole in the Audi R18 alongside Bidzster, and then it's TY in third place, so the two art cars second and third. Then it's Jamo fourth in the Porsche, Tas1 fifth in the R18, and Neil Farmack in the Toyota. Still no sign of Nick Hash yet this season so far. So seventh for Seek 1, who was on pole in the GTE. Then it's Firepower second on the grid. Good lap by Firepower there. Rodders 9th, Stacker in 10th, and then Lil Yam returns as Immortal Wolf in 11th, and then it's Techno in 12th position. So without further ado, let's get on with this race then, and let's see how everyone does. Let's get the telemetry up at the bottom so we can see what the tyres and fuel's like for everyone as we get ready for a start to this race. Red light goes on, green, and we're off. And Bidzster gets a slow start. Jamo's away well in the Porsche, and TY as well. Look at TY start, amazing. Bidzster goes backwards with wheel spin down towards the first corner, so the LMP ones are already there. And it's TY in the lead, but he's a bit hot into the corner. Callum gets it, Bidzster's alongside his teammate there, very, very side by side. Then Tas1 and Neil Farmack as well. Meanwhile, the GT class, Rodders and Firepower. Look at Firepower start, he's away like a stabbed rat. And then Rodders in 8th place. Seat 1 and Stacker there as well. As we look back to the LMP1 boys, Bidzster challenging Callum for the lead, not wasting no time into the second chicane. Bidzster alongside Callum side by side and gets round him on the outside, amazing stuff. Tas1 and Neil Farmack side by side towards the first Lesmo, and Tas1 ahead. Oh, there's contact and lag and all sorts of stuff, and the cars hop around as TY, Jamo and Co follow each other out of there. Meanwhile, GT, Firepower, Rodders, Seat 1, Stacker, Techno, and unfortunately Immortal Wolf, known as Lil Yam, is unfortunately not being able to make the start because of the glitch. So Seat 1 taps Stacker off and he's waiting for him, and that leaves his teammate Stacker to go through. So Seat 1 hits Rodders but then lets him go, so fair's fair. Meanwhile at the front, the leaders, Bidzster, Callum, TY. You think this was a sprint race? As we go down towards Parabolica, one of the most famous corners in motorsport, the last corner of Monza. Round here, it used to be a big gravel track, now it's a big runoff area, which I think is a bit too safe myself, but you know, it used to bring a real spice to it when you used to think, oh, if I go too fast around here, I'm going to go in the gravel, so it's, you know, it's took away the element of skill really, because the drivers can just go too fast and wide as Jamo. Gets a good run down the straight and passes most cars now. That must be fuel saving for the rest of them. Jamo not even bothering to fuel save, so Bidzster and Callum quite happy to let him go and keeping his drafters. Tas1, and I know what it is with Tas1 and Neil now. Tas1 and Neil can't actually see each other on track because there's a glitch with the connection. So unfortunately, they're not able to see each other. That's why sometimes the cars bounce around. As we look at Bidzster then and Jamo's, Callum and TY coming to the chicane as well. No change there as Bidzster closes right up to Jamo. So Firepower with a commanding lead in GTE. Never said those words before, but Firepower with a brilliant lead in GTE at the minute, running away with it. Stacker and Seat 1, the two Marlboro Porsches in second and third in class. Rodders has gone backwards into the hands of Techno, so Rodders not having a good start to this race, and neither is Techno, but that could be fuel saving, you never know. So Firepower on it, like Wallace and Gromit, into the first Lesmo with a good, I'd say a good 5-second advantage over his compatriots in his class. So a good job here from Firepower. Meanwhile, back to the leaders then. Jamo in the lead, Bidzster second. Nice, taking a bit of draft off Jamo there as we go into here. Now look at the Porsche's hybrid. It's got a lot more hybrid. Watch how much hybrid the Porsche's got there. About 3/4. The Audi's not even got a quarter. That just shows you the difference in the hybrid. And Bidzster's already run out of hybrid there, and Jamo's still going. So just shows you the difference between the hybrids. But obviously you can only use the hybrid up to about 150 mile an hour. Then it cuts out, and then it's all internal combustion engine from there. Down towards the first chicane we go. Still all in line. Still all using the draft as Jamo goes a bit hot into the corner. Bidzster going for the cutback here, get a good run out the corner, but I don't think he'll beat that Porsche in acceleration, because look at the Porsche's hybrid straight out of that corner. Loads of hybrid to spare. The battery charge is immense on that on that Porsche, just saves it up so well, and up to 150 mile an hour, that Porsche cannot be beaten. But then past 150 mile an hour, the Audi's got more horsepower, so the Audi comes in once it gets up to the top end speed. As we go out the second chicane, all still very close together, not making many mistakes, as we've got Task1 and Neil very close together, obviously, but remember, they still can't see each other on track, so that's why the looks like they're making contact, but they can't actually see each other on track. So unfortunately a typical Gran Turismo game glitch there with the connection, but unfortunately for them, they all accelerate down there. Meanwhile in GT, Firepower still with a good lead over Seat 1. Seat 1's free now from Stacker, so 151.4 for Firepower. He's getting rid of a little bit of a penalty there. 151.8 for Seat 1. So Rodder's still ahead of Techno there. The LMP1 is where the battle is at the minute, so we've still got TY, Callum and Jamo. Bidzster up front. We go through the parabolica and out of it. Again, I did like the challenge when the gravel track was there, because you know if you make a mess of that parabolica, you are out of the race, or it's going to really affect your race. But yeah, I do think they have made circuits a bit too safe, really. But if give drivers too, you know, a reason to run wide, which before, if you ran wide and you make a mistake, that's it, your race is over. It punishes you properly for making the mistake. So there's too many get out of jail for free cards at the minute, I think, but that's just my own opinion. As Techno now is ahead of Rodders, so Techno is in front of Rodders now, so Rodders goes back down to 11th overall and 5th in class. As Techno goes into Ascari, goes a bit wide in, Rodders has to take a defensive line in for some reason. Oh, Techno hitting the drift button, and Rodders says thank you very much, I'll take advantage of that and go straight through, because the Aston has got quite a lot of straight line speed advantage over the Porsche. But one disadvantage of the Aston is it uses a bit more fuel. That's the difference between a flat 6 and a V12. So V12 in the Aston, flat 6 in the Porsche. So that is the difference. As we look at the LMP1 boys now, there's Jamo coming up to the Ascari corner, fast lap of the race, 134.7, so clearly we know Jamo's strategy, and that's to push from the start. Callum's ahead of Bidzster now, so Bidster's gone backwards. So Callum passes Bidzster now, and they're both in a nice little battle with each other here. Down towards the last corner, Callum defending from Bidzster, not letting him through. Jamo got a little penalty, so TY, Bidzster, sorry. There's TY in the other T-Mark car as Bidzster catches up to Callum at the corner. And down towards the first chicane, in each other's draft. I think Bidzster just whacked off the engine a little bit here, just to try and save a bit more fuel. Every little bit helps. Because even if you save fuel all the way up to the pit stop, it means that your pit stop will be quicker, because you won't have to put as much fuel in. It's Callum! Whoa! Talk about sliding, that was the back end was doing it dance of its own out of that corner. So you've really got to try and control that wheel spin, otherwise you'll overheat the rear tyres as well, so you've got to be careful there, Callum, as you go down towards the second chicane. Jamo's already there, all still line astern in LMP1, obviously trying to run a strategic race until the pit stops come about. And then I would imagine after the pit stops it'll be hell for leather for the rest of the race. So the pit stop window is in between lap 12 and 16. So that's your pit stop window, 12 and 16, as we've got Bidzster running a bit wide in the background there, just over the curbs. TY's teammate following him, fastest lap, 134.5 for TY. So TY on the move here. Meanwhile, let's go back and look at Techno and Rodders. They're still quite close, and the LMP1 boys aren't far off them, so there could be quite a few times that the GTs get lapped here. We look at Firepower then, still in the lead, 153.0 last time, so must have made a mistake somewhere. Seat 1 another 51, so in the 51s for Seat 1, he's almost in the 50s, so doing really well there. So Firepower slowly getting caught by Seat 1, but obviously still quite a decent gap so far. Let's look at LMP1 then. Jamo accelerates out of Parabolica, followed by Callum, Bidzster and TY. Fastest lap for Callum. Let's see if anyone else beats that. No. So Callum with the fastest lap of the race then, so he's decided to turn up the wick a little bit. Obviously decided to use a bit more fuel now, as now they're catching up to the GT boys. So all line astern still. Remember, Task1 and Neil can't see each other, but Neil goes wide there onto the gravel out of the corner. So Neil's been in the wars. He's got a bit of damage on his car, but that might be just from the fact that Task1 and Neil can't see each other properly, because they both got a bit of damage on the cars. There's Jamo now up in the traffic. This is where it's going to get fun. Jamo goes past Techno. Callum does as well. Will Bidzster get through? No, he won't. Bidzster's got to wait behind the queue. But Techno goes a bit wide anyway, so Bidzster takes advantage and so does TY. Now it's Rodders, Callum gets through. Bidzster again has to wait until they get out of the corner, but it's not going to affect him too much. TY goes through. Task and Neil now, they should get easily through on the straight. So first set of back markers for the leaders done with relative ease there. So done quite well as we go up here and around Ascari. Callum's got caught behind Stacker though. Callum and Bidzster and Co got caught behind Stacker. Jamo makes a gap and Bidzster's going to try and get round Callum here. They all go round line astern. Stacker must think, what have I done wrong? Getting passed by everyone at once. There goes Neil as well, so they've all dispatched Stacker almost. Neil's just coming up to him now as we go on board with Neil here. Up to Stacker, you can see the difference as Stacker goes through. Neil has to wait behind. So Neil has to wait behind Stacker, and now he gets on the power, and out the corner he goes. So let's look at the leaders then. So Jamo's got a good lead now because the traffic's helped him out a bit, and Callum and Bidzster still very close together into the first chicane. So Bidzster behind, Callum still running line astern. Let's have a look at Jamo. Is he caught up to any more traffic yet? Seat 1's the next one on the list. Callum, Bidzster and TY and Co still following suit. Let's see if Neil's got any traffic problems. No, he's passed all his as well. So Jamo's going to come up to seat 1 now. Seat 1's the next car to pass. As Callum and Bidzster and Co come into the chicane. Bidzster going back into the hands of his teammate slowly there. Still a few little mistakes for Bidzster probably. As Jamo then is round seat 1. Callum's turn now to pass the traffic. The lap 12 to 16 the pit window, so we'll have to see what strategies people come up with here. So Callum's going to get seat 1 on the straight, good time in there. Bidzster's going to do the same, I think. TY might be able to do it as well as we go through. Bidzster goes through, TY goes through. Task 1's probably going to get seat right on the corner here. He's going to be close to Task 1. He's going to get him in the middle of Ascari, but he might just clear him. We'll have to see as we go on board with Task 1 there. He just gets him and just about gets past him on the exit. And now Neil Farmack's going to come up to seat 1 as well, and he should be able to pass him before Parabolica. And now Firepower's next, and Firepower's being passed by them all. So Firepower, nice, just keeps to one side on the straight. Didn't have to let him go, but obviously decided he wants to. So might as well just keep to one side, keep his foot down, let the LMP ones pass him on power. As Task 1 comes out the corner there, Firepower getting passed by all the LMP ones now. And seat 1 is a bit closer to Firepower as well, so watch out for that later on in the race. So Callum and Bidzster are closing up to Jamo now, so 34 dead for Callum, 34.4 for Bidzster, 36.7 for Jamo, so that traffic not helped him that time round. So Callum really pressing on now, trying to close on Jamo. Wonder if he's going to try a pass anytime soon, because we're coming up towards the pit stop window in between 12 and 16. So we're not far off that, we're only a handful of laps off that. As Callum goes into the chicane then. Up and over the curb, Bidzster taking a lot of curb there, so is his teammate who has a bit of a tank stopper on the way out, and so does Task. They all come through the Lesmo. Nicely through there. Let's have a look back. Oh, further back! Techno and Rodders. The Rodders went off a bit there. Techno on the inside probably, so that was a little bit of a battle there. So we'll try and keep an eye on this as well as we go down towards up Curva Grande. So around Curva Grande down to the second chicane. Stacker's already at the second chicane there. And then Rodders are trying to go up the inside of Techno into the chicane. Can't quite do it. Techno holds him off. The Porsche very good round the chicane and on the brakes. The Aston a bit better on the acceleration and top end speed. There's Jamo, Callum and Co. Now if you look at the fuel quick, look at the graphic at the bottom guys, and then look at the fuel. Jamo is on just about 1/3 of a tank left, and Callum is on half, and so is Bidzster, so they're all saying the Audi's saving a bit more fuel here than the Porsche. We go on the straight. TY saved more fuel than all of them. He's just a little bit of a smidge over half the tank. Task 1's used quite a lot, so is Neil, so different strategies coming into play here. Obviously with Bidzster and Callum saving more fuel, the pit stop will be slightly quicker because they won't have to put as much in, so we'll have to either they'll not put as much in, or they'll fill it all the way and it'll take less time. So whichever way they do it, it's going to be quicker. As Callum now closing on Jamo into the chicane. I don't think he's going to attempt to pass and move yet though. I think he's going to wait until the pit stop window, just keep saving, but you never know, he might try a little move a little earlier on if he thinks he can get away, so we'll see. But remember, he's got to bear in mind though, if he does pass him, Bidzster will be like a shot as well. He'll be trying to pass him as well to try and keep with Callum, so we'll have to see what's going to happen. There's TY a bit further back, just assessing the situation, just saving more fuel. He's got 2 cars to draft off, so why not? Go down to the next bit. Let's have a look further back. Seat 1 then has passed Firepower. Seat 1's passed Firepower, so the GT lead has changed. We'll get a replay on that. Here's a replay of how Seat 1 took the lead from Firepower then, so going down towards the first chicane. Seat 1 in the draft of Firepower in the Aston Martin. Goes out, and then nice, clean, overtaking manoeuvre, under brakes. Gets him on the brakes in the Porsche, and that's how Seat 1 took the lead. So as we come back from that, Rodders is ahead of Task 1, ahead of Techno again, sorry. So Rodders is ahead of Techno, so still battling hard for 10th and 11th place overall, or 4th and 5th in class. So a nice little battle going on here. Look back to LMP1 then, out of the parabolic of turn. Bidzster straightens the corner off just to try and get a bit more high rig down. Jamo's in! Jamo's in! So Jamo's in already, so obviously thinking a different strategy here, and this is before the pit window. So Jamo trying a 2-stop strategy, and then he's going to put less in now. Probably go for a faster stint, so we'll see how much fuel he's going to put in as Neil goes through. So Callum and Bidzster now in the lead, and look at the fuel. They've turned up the weight now, they're going for it. Jamo's come out of the pits with 3/4 of a tank, so he's definitely going for a 2-stop strategy here. So he's put less fuel in, and he's going to try and go for a few hot laps. So Jamo's going to really put his foot down now and see what he can do. So let's see if this 2-stop strategy works. But the more common strategy at Monza is the 1-stop. So we'll see what happens. As Firepower's in GT as well. Firepower's in, so the Aston using a bit more fuel. Look at the Seat 1, up just under half a tank, and then Firepower's already on a 1/4. So Firepower definitely going for the 2-stop strategy then, because it'll probably go 8, 16, and then try and go to the end. So we'll see what happens here. So he's only put a little bit in. He's gone to half a tank, so he's going clever strategy for Firepower, running light. So he's going to run light for a stint with fresh tyres, see what he can do. So let's see if this strategy pays off. Good to see people using their heads as well as just the skill on track. It's good to see people using the brain power as well in this championship to try and get ahead as well. Obviously, in my opinion, motorsport is all about pure speed and pure driving skill, not necessarily strategy to win a race. But it's good to see, just for one championship, people using their heads and to come up with these strategies and see if they can trump the other person. So it's good to see a combination of the two for a championship. As we go into the first corner, up over the curbs and out of it. Bidzster makes a mistake, puts the power on too soon, and his teammate goes through. So TY goes through from Bidzster then. So Bidzster pushing hard there, making a mistake. Look at the tyre wear though. Obviously Callum and Bidzster tyres are quite on the dead scale, but TY's on the medium tyres, and he's got a bit more fuel left as well. So TY thinking the long run here, might go longer into the pit window. So TY obviously on better tyres at this stage of the race. Task 1 and Neil still a bit further apart. As we go out of the Lesmo, let's have a look and see if Bidzster's going to try and repass his teammate here as he gets on with it, and I think he's in fuel saving mode here because he's behind his teammate, quite happy to follow him. As we go down towards Ascari, should I say up towards Ascari, because it is a ascent up to Ascari, and over the curves we go. TY second place then, chasing Callum now. So Callum comes out that corner, a little less fuel. TY tries to close up Bidzster in the draft as well. So look back in GT then. Oh, so there's Jamo still pushing on hard. GTE's Seat 1 still's not pitted yet, so he's still ahead. Firepower in second place even after his pit stop, so that just shows you how far ahead he was at the start of the race. So good job here from Firepower. Rodders and Stacker now close together. Rodders and Stacker, so Rodders is close up to Stacker here, both on the medium tyres, and Rodders has used his tyres a bit more than Stacker here, and they're both on about the same fuel. So Rodders has definitely used more of his tyres to try and close up to Stacker here. And then out the corner, this is where the Aston Martin will be good, and they've got the LMP1s closed upon them now. So there's Callum, TY and Bidzster still in that same order. So look back at Stacker and Rodders then, so here they are, they're just ahead of the LMP1 boys here on track. Well, Stacker and Rodders come down to the next corner. Will Rodders try it on the brakes into here? Stacker's usually quite late on the brakes as it is. Rodders has a little go but can't quite do it. As they come out that corner then, Stacker gets a bit of a tank slapper on. Rodders will close up here into the first Lesmo. Here come the LMP1 boys. Callum, TY and Bidzster. Remember, the GTE boys get right of way when it comes to the racing line. Callum goes through. TY's going to go through. Bidzster's going to try and get through past Rodders as well, and can't quite do it. He backs off just to give Rodders the line at the last minute. Rodders does run a bit wide in panic, but he gets through nice and clean. And look, Task 1's behind him now, so Rodders has lost time to Stacker here. So Bidzster a bit over ambitious there, but he did back off and give Rodders the line there, so good on Bidzster there. As you look at Callum, he's past the traffic. TY has, Bidzster's free, Task 1's through, and now we've got a car off. We've got a car off there. Who's that? Stacker's gone off now. Was he hit by traffic? We'll get a replay. Stacker on lap 10, so goes into Ascari, and then just loses the car on the way in, just makes his own mistake into the gravel, and then Rodders goes a bit wide there, but then Stacker just rejoins the track there in 11th position. As we come back from that then, Callum, TY and Co at the front, round Parabolica, pit window is open, let's see what's going to happen now. Pit window's open, anyone going to come in early? Nope, not then. 3, Task 1, nope, he's going to go around again, even though he's got quite a lot less fuel. There goes Neil, and Jamo's just about coming around Parabolica now, so the two-stop strategy could work for Jamo here, because he's going to go a lot faster than these guys. He's got fresh tyres, half a tank of fuel, so by the time it comes to the end of the pit window, when he has to make his mandatory one, he can use all this fuel up now and go for it. So we'll see what happens here as he comes up to lap Techno. Jamo outbrakes Techno into the chicane, pretty easy done, doesn't compromise anyone's line and goes straight through. Look at Callum now, let's see who's next on the hit list for Callum. It's Bidzster behind him, so Callum's next on Bidzster's hit list as we go out the chicane. Oh, squirming under power, the rear wheel drive Audi, and all of them using up the fuel now, trying to push, use up the last few droplets of that fuel, get some more pace out of the car. Task 1 following suit behind as well. Let's see who the next person is that they're going to lap, and it's Firepower. Firepower's about to get harassed by these LMP1 boys, and he's going to be just in the middle of Ascari when they get to him, so they're going to have to wait behind him here. This is going to cause a bit of a traffic jam, because remember the GT gets right of way. So there's Callum, Bidzster's closes up right behind him, and TY does as well, as they all approach Firepower at once. And Firepower getting passed by them all now. There we are on board with Firepower, there they all go, all 4 at once. Into the corner, no one trying an overtaking move yet. As we look back, there's Neil Farmack. As we drift around this corner, Neil Farmack in the Toyota comes up to us. TY's attempting to pass his teammate here. Let's look ahead. TY is he passing his teammate? He's trying to, or is he letting him through? I can't quite tell. Side by side on the straight. TY lets Bidzster go, so TY doesn't bother to stay in front of Bidzster, lets him go, stays in third. Task 1 behind now. So all 4 LMP1s really close to each other. Meanwhile, Jamo is approaching the first chicane, so Jamo's really closing in now. You look at the fuel he's used, he's definitely on it, pushing like hell in that Porsche, trying to close up a bit of a gap. Remember, Jamo's got a bit more fuel than these guys now, so now he'll be able to put less fuel in. So this has changed the game around for Jamo completely, which will be it might put him in front. You never know as Neil and Task 1 get close. But Neil and Task 1, but. Remember, they can't see each other on track, so they've got no idea where each other is, and it just goes their cars inside each other as Neil makes a mistake, goes back for the line. If they could see each other, this would be a really close race, because they're right up each other's trumpets here. As Callum comes up to Ascari then, lap 14 out of 27, so we're halfway through the pit window. Let's see if anyone in GTE's pitted yet. So their pit window has just opened, so seat 1 might be in this lap. Firepower will definitely have to come in this lap. Look at the fuel. He should have put a bit more fuel in for that other pit window, for that other strategy to work. So we'll see what happens here. As Task 1's gone off, so Task 1... Oh, he's out of fuel! Task 1's out of fuel! So Task 1's misjudged the fuel here, and he's running in the middle of the circuit. He needs to move over to one side, really, because he's in the middle of the circuit here. Pick a side, Task 1, go offline, because you've run out of fuel. As TY's off! TY's off as well, so TY's gone off. Is he disconnected? I think, yes, TY's disconnected. Oh no, TY's gone. So TY disappears in a disconnection, so unlucky for TY there. Bidzster takes the lead over Callum. Neil in third now. Jamo up to 4th, Task 1 5th. We're still crawling around with no fuel. Seat 1 goes round again. Firepower in, because he's misjudged the fuel there for his 2 stops, so he's going to have to make 3 stops now probably. So this will count as his mandatory one, because it's lap 12. Rodders is coming in now, but Rodders is coming around to the Parabolica, and he'll come into the pits. So both Durex cars coming into the pits now. Well, this will be Rodders' first stop, as Firepower's already made. This is his second one, so not helping himself out. Firepower here with the strategy, because he goes out with just about a full tank of fuel. Task One's in, obviously, with the empty tank. Task One goes round. Techno and Rodders are in, so Techno's in as well. As Rodders is putting his fuel in, Techno's still getting his tyres changed. So Stacker's going round, but look at the fuel on Stacker's car. Judging it down to the last ounce of fuel. Meanwhile, back in the LMP1s, Callum goes wide out of Ascari. Bidzster will close up here. So both trying to judge this to the last possible moment. Will they go round again? Or will they stay put as the GTE boys come out of the pits? We've got Task One among them because he ran out of fuel. Oh, hold on, they've crossed the pit lane line, Techno and Rodders, so they'll be having a stern talking to us. Rodders goes wide. And Rodders goes wide, Techno goes wide as well as Callum's gone round. Callum's gone round on another lap. But Bidzster is in, so Jamo's picked up the positions as well. Bidzster's into the pit, so Bidzster's in one lap before Callum, so trying to do an undercut. So pit, try and get a fast lap out and get ahead of him. So we'll see how that goes as the fuel goes into Bidzster's car. Neil's in as well. Seat 1's in the lead GTE car. There's Firepower, so Seat 1 should definitely come out in front of Firepower here, because Firepower's mucked up his strategy here completely by putting two less fuel in at his other stop. So Bidzster's out, followed by Neil. Both keeping within the white line, so both doing it properly here. There we are, keep within the white line, and then Neil crossing it just a bit too early, but never mind. Seat 1 still putting fuel in, so this is where the race gets a bit confusing. After this next lap and in this next couple of laps, we'll be able to get the actual running order for you. As we go down towards the sky with Callum then, pushing on his in-lap. Look at the fuel, like little sips left, pushing with all the fuel he can to in this in-lap. Jamo will be able to go, will be in this lap as well. He'll be pushing hard as well, but he'll be able to put a bit less in than the others. So that could help Jamo out, as Bidzster and Neil coming up towards the first Lesmos. Task 1 coming round, there's Seat 1 in the lead of GTE then, so Seat 1 leads GTE from Firepower, who could have jumped him in that other stop if he'd have put more fuel in at his first stop and be able to go longer on the pit window, but unfortunately Firepower not helping himself out there with the strategy. Stacker's in, he's got to put a lot of fuel in there. Techno and Rodders side by side across the line as Callum comes into the pits behind him. So Techno and Rodders then coming down the start-finish straight. Stacker's still in the pits, still putting fuel in, so Stacker will be last in class, 10th overall now. As Techno and Rodders then down towards the first corner. Rodders just slightly ahead of Techno and keeps the position for now. As Callum's in the pits putting fuel in, Jamo's in, tyres changed, less fuel for Jamo. This could bring him closer to the pack. So we'll see what happens here. Bidzster's coming around the last corner, so is Neil. This is going to be intense. Callum's coming out of the pits now, he's got to get up to speed. Bidzster's already on full speed. Where's Callum? There he is, there's Bidzster behind, so Callum's trumped Bidzster out of the pits here. So they've only got to do 10 laps on a tank as well, so that should be easy enough to do for the hybrids. So Callum takes the lead then. So Callum in the lead of LMP1, Bidzster second, Neil third, Jamo comes out in fourth. So Jamo, that pit stop strategy is sort of helped him, but sort of not. It could have come out both ways from doing the same strategy, so just shows that a two-stop strategy can work. And Task 1 there quite a lot but further behind because he messed up his fuel strategy. So Task 1 then coming around there in 5th place. 6th place for Seat 1, he's in the lead of GT there. Pit window still not over yet, but I think they've all pitted anyway. There's Firepower in 7th. Rodders and Techno having a nice battle here for 8th and 9th, still battling hammer and tongs as they go down towards Parabolica. Go for the inside here now. Rodders defends the inside, but he's going to run a bit wide, but I think he's just about going to hold on to it. Techno closes up, not really finding a way through there yet. Let's look at the LMP1 boys, because they're about to lap some traffic, I think. Look at Bidzster, he's closing right up to Callum. He's just come out obviously he's got to lap all the tyres than Callum, but he's pushing hard here. Wants to really try and stay with Callum and catch him if he can. We go down the start-finish straight, then we pass Stacker and we lap. Go down towards the first chicane then. So Bidzster versus Callum. Bidzster 1:33.5. Fastest lap of the race. Pulling out all the stops here and gets fastest lap, and tries to get past Callum but can't quite do it. Neil Farmack stuck behind Stacker now. There's Jamo in 4th, Task 1 5th. Let's have a look back at Rodders and Techno. They're still close together. 49.7 is personal best for Rodders that last time round, and same for Techno. So they're both pushing each other around really well here. Both battling tooth and nail as we go towards the second Lesmo. Not really an overtaking place unless you're on a bike. They both go out that corner nicely as Techno makes a bit of a mistake there, runs a bit wide, makes a little error, and that will help Rodders out a bit. Meanwhile, back to the leaders who are approaching this battle, Callum and Bidzster. Bidzster with a lot more fuel in than Callum as well, so Callum must have short fuel. That's probably why he got out ahead of Bidzster as well. Put in a bit less fuel. He's going to try and fuel save to the end. Whereas Bidzster, not phased. Going full power to the end as Callum makes a mistake and Bidzster goes through. Not wasting no time here. So Bidzster clearly judging the fuel now and he's thinking, right, that's enough, let's go. Keep with this, Callum. So Bidzster on the move here, getting rid of a little bit of a penalty as well that he'll have accumulated, because this track is quite prominent on penalties as Techno and Rodders are still fighting each other and Bidzster going through. Pulls in front of the GTE so Callum can't get as much of a draft. The tactics there as Callum goes through. Then we've got Rodders and Techno behind, still battling for 9th and 10th in class. Just off the podium. Rodders is in the third place. Oh, so battling for the podium position there. So battling for a podium position now. Go through here. So Bidzster still fast lap of the race. 1:33.4, 1:34.9 for Callum last time round. Obviously with that little mistake. So, but fastest first sector for Callum. So he's definitely pushing Bidzster on it now. So it's going to be a titanic battle this to the end of the race. Bidzster versus Callum. And then Neil Farmack making his way through the traffic. There he goes in the Toyota. Should be a good finish for Neil this in the Toyota if he finishes the race like this. Jamo in the Porsche, he's still trying to catch up. Obviously that pit stop strategy not really helped him out too much, and neither does that going off this track. There's Task 1 further back after running out of fuel earlier on in the race, so Task 1 not having a good time this season. There's Callum and Bidzster very close to each other. I think there was almost contact there as Callum's ahead of Bidzster then. So, almost contact into there, but position switch. There's Neil. Let's have a look back at Rodders and Techno for the third place in GTE, still battling like hell for this position. And they're at the end of their pit window now, so I'll give you a proper rundown of the GTE positions after this. I do think they've all pitted already, but it's whether they'll be able to get to the end on fuel, because I don't think that some of the GTs will get to the end on fuel at this rate, but we'll see. Seat 1 might, he's got 3/4 of the tank. Firepower Rodders and Co have only got half a tank left. So Stacker and Seat 1 look like they're set to the end, the others don't. So Callum and Bidzster, now Callum 1:32.9, fastest lap of the race. Bidzster 34.6, so definitely a mistake from Bidzster last time round then, that's probably why Callum got in front. 35.4 for Neil and a 36.7 for Jamo, so Jamo off the pace then now in the Porsche. That's Callum and Bidzster then, lap 20 out of 27. Just over 7 laps to go as we go into this first Lesmo, and then we're going to catch him to Firepower here. They should be able to catch him before Ascari, hopefully, we'll see. As they go onto the straight, get the power down. And now let's have a look from Firepower's car. As we look back from Firepower there, in the Aston Martin, here they come. Into the Ascari, they're behind him, they're going to have to wait as they both get rid of a penalty. Callum will try and go around the outside but can't quite do it. Bidzster closes right up here and this is where they go past him. And Bidzster goes through the middle and tries to get back and gets alongside Callum as well. So uses Firepower and thinks I'll go through the middle. And he's on the inside for the next corner. And brakes as Callum goes round the outside of him. Schooled, have that. So Bidzster then straightens the car up to use a bit more of the hybrid system out of the corner and closes right up to Callum again. So again, brilliant battle here. As we look, just have a quick look back at Rodders and Techno. Still nose to tail, still battling hard. As we look at Callum and Bidzster into the chicane. Bidzster pulls out the draft. Brake, 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 brake. How did he get that? So he didn't get that stopped. He just went a bit over. Went over the white line there, and I think Bidzster's going to sensibly let Callum through here. Yes, he is. Let him back through because he went over the white line. So very fair racing there from our host Bidzster, the boss of LPB Racing. So Bidzster then wants to have a fair fight with Callum here as they close up to seat 1, the leader of GTE. Will Callum be able to get round him before the first Lesmo? This could be crucial, and he does. Bidzster's stuck behind him. Bidzster's got to wait until he gets out of this corner, then gets the hybrid on, and then gets past him. So Callum's pulled out a little bit of a gap here, but again, he's not really pulled away out of drafting range because Bidzster will be right behind him again. So Callum's got a lot less fuel in than Bidzster here, but will Callum have to think about fuel saving near the end of the race? We'll have to see. See what happens as we look up to the Ascari chicane then. Round here we go, nice and very nicely through there. As Bidzster pushing hard, squirming that car out the corner. Meanwhile, Neil and Jamo are closing up to each other. There's Neil's come out of Ascari and there's Jamo. So Jamo 33.9 last time round to Neil's 34.3. So 33.9 to a 34.3. So Jamo definitely closing up on Neil Farmack here if he can keep this pace up. And a little bit of a draft off seat 1 will help him just nicely. There's Task 1 all the way back there. There's seat 1. Firepower in second place in class, having a very good race here. Rodders and Techno still battling at it. Back in GTE. Defends the inside into Ascari. Techno runs a bit deep into the corner, so can't capitalise on the way out. Division 2 hotting up as he definitely is hotting up as stones and crap go flying as Rodders goes for a bit of rally crossing out of Ascari there and just keeps ahead of Techno, so keeps his foot in it. But Techno definitely closer there, so no advantage gained from Rodders there because Techno is closed up. And there he goes wide onto the AstroTurf because that was the old track, that would have eaten him up alive. But still keeps behind Techno, so Techno gets ahead. But watch the Aston Martin speed on the straight. Rodders gets the speed of the Aston Martin, now it's going to be a battle of bravery on the brakes. As they break down towards turn 1, both brake at the same time. Rodders on the inside, Techno on the outside. Techno goes around the outside, gets the inside for the next corner, and beautifully defended there by Techno. Straight textbook, good racing there. Speaking of racing, these two are still at it. Callum and Bidzster still at it until the end of the race. Bidzster on half a tank, Callum almost on 1/3 of a tank, so Callum looks like he might just judge it right on fuel here. We'll have to see as we go into Parabolica then. Both drivers in the 34s, so the high-end 34s, almost 35s. So still battling nice here as we go over the start-finish straight. It's the right behind him, pulls out for the overtake. Gets past him on draft alone. See, this is how good battles are without DRS and all that rubbish. There's two cars evenly fighting for it, same power band and everything. Just absolute driver skill that wins the battle. No push to pass, no DRS, none of that rubbish. Yes, they're both hybrids, but the thing is, they both charge the battery the same. They both deploy the battery the same. As Bidzster out breaks himself into the chicane, goes over the AstroTurf, but he just about keeps ahead of Callum there. So as they close up to Stacker, and Bidzster's going to go in the inside of Stacker into the next corner. He doesn't compromise Stacker's line, but he goes off and tries too hard. I can see what Bidzster were trying to do there, trying to get past Stacker into the corner. So obviously not compromising Stacker's line, obviously, but then try and get ahead of him and then leave Callum stuck behind him before the straight. But unfortunately, it backfired on him, and he ended up going too deep into the corner himself as he now tries desperately to close up to Callum. Over one curve, over the other. And then right behind Callum again, so really pushing hard. Callum can't quite stay ahead. Look at him, right on the back of Callum already. So must have got a little bit of a penalty from going two wheels over the Ascari, but it looks spectacular. To come out of Parabolica then onto lap 24 out of 27. Almost at the end of this race now, not far off the end. We go down towards the first chicane. Will Bidzster go for the move? Snap! Brake! Up the inside, goes for the move. Can't quite do it. Callum brakes very late there. So Bidzster really trying everything here. Trying every trick in the book. And look who's closing up behind them. It's Neil. Neil's closing up in the Toyota. A lot fresher tyres and a bit more, and about the same fuel as well. So these two battling's not helping each other out here. As Neil's closing up, as Bidzster then goes around the outside of Callum and tries to get the inside for the chicane. And just about does it, keeps within the track limits as well. Beautifully done, but then gets on the gravel. Has to go straight into defensive mode, so Callum can't get through. And they're approaching a car to lap here. I think this is Techno. Is it Techno? Yes, it is. So Techno's fallen off the back of Rodders here, I think. So I think that battle's more or less over, unfortunately. So there's Rodders, he's further ahead, and Techno's gone right backwards. So we'll get a replay of what happened at that battle. Replay what happened to Techno for him to go all the way back, and the reason why is he went into the pits under the radar. So he goes into the pits with 20 litres of fuel and goes in for a pit stop to get enough fuel for the end of the race. As we come back from that then, Bidzster and Callum down towards, up towards Ascari. So over the chicane they go, out of it, Callum right behind Bidzster, and Callum gets a good run out of that corner down towards Parabolica. Will he go for the move? Still in the draft. I think he's willing to save a bit more fuel here just to wait it out a bit till the end of the race. So good strategic move here. Rodders is in the pits. Rodders in the pits then. So that's what happened to Techno. Then he went into the pits. So, and then Rodders into the pits now. Got to put some more fuel in. Techno's coming around the last corner, but he's made a mistake and hit the wall. That's not going to help him, but Rodders is in for fuel. He's got to put enough in for 7 laps. He's already coming out of the pits, so Techno, if he did not make that mistake, he might have had a chance. If the cameras go funny there, sorry about this, ladies and gentlemen. There goes Rodders. Half the tank will get him 7 laps easy. And Techno, yeah, if he did make that mistake, that would have been a lot closer. So Techno's not helped himself out here. They both make pit stops at the last bit. So Stacker not having to make a pit stop, and neither is Seat 1, but Firepower will, because he's going to have to make a pit stop here. So that could put him back towards his teammate a little bit. So Firepower will probably be in at the end of this lap. So all changing GT then as we look at LMP1. Still Bidzster and Callum, with Bidzster ahead for now. But he's got a bit more fuel than Callum, so he'll be able to go a bit harder towards the end. Callum's going to have to save a bit of fuel here behind Bidzster for these last few laps. So that's what he's going to try and do now, probably save a bit of fuel and then go for it near the end. In fact, I think he might be going for it now, because he's right behind him. Bidzster goes to the fence, Callum goes to the outside. Up towards Ascari then. Will he be able to outbrake him around the outside? No, Bidzster keeps the advantage, but goes wide onto the gravel, and then comes across and just a bit of a tap to Callum. Couldn't do anything there because he went off. But yeah, Bidzster just pushing too hard there. There's Firepower into the pits then in the Aston Martin. Well, there's Rodders, he's only at the Ascari, so I think Firepower should be safe in second place here. Just needs to put enough in for maybe 6 or 7 laps towards the end, and that should be fine. As Rodders makes a mistake there. Rodders makes a mistake, and Techno will close right up here. Let's look at the closing speed. Here's the closing speed. We're closing on him. Let's have a look at this. Firepower's out of the pitch, definitely in second place. There he goes. As we look at Techno and Rodders then into Parabolica, the battle resumes. After the pit stops, both putting fuel in. Techno made a mistake and couldn't quite catch up to Rodders out of the pits, and then Rodders has just handed him the battle back on a plate. And now they're both battling again till the end of the race. So good, nice little battles here. Typical Monza racing. Good battles all round. As Callum ahead of Bidzster then. Callum ahead of Bidzster as you go into the chicane. For the second to last time. So it's the penultimate lap of the race then. They've both definitely got enough fuel now to get to the end of the race. So it's push as hard as you can now and try and leave the other in your dust. So Callum's going to try and leave Bidzster in his dust. Bidzster's going to try and catch up to Callum. But look at Neil. Neil's closed up behind as well. So Neil and Jamo done very well to close up the gap here. Let's look at the leaders. They've been doing 35, 36s with the battles. And then you look at Neil Farmack and Jamo, they've been in the 34s. So very good lap times there from them. And Task 1 still further back, obviously having to, he's in the 35s, but unfortunately ran out of fuel earlier on in the race, which didn't help his race at all. Seat 1 in the leader GT then, and then it's Firepower second. Rodders in third for now from Techno. Still having a fantastic Titanic battle here. And Stacker about to get lapped by the leading by Task 1. Bidzster goes out the last corner, tries to get a good run onto the straight. And now it's going to be the last lap of the race. So everyone behind these lot now will finish the race. So it's going to be Callum versus Bidzster. And Neil's a bit too far back here. So unless the two leaders take each other off, it's going to be Callum or Bidzster for the win, as Bidzster closes right up under brake and tries to close right up, square the car off, get the traction, use all the hybrid energy you can and get all the run out the corner. Callum's just about got enough to push for one last lap. Bidzster's definitely got enough. So both of them judging the fuel very well here. And Callum's fastest lap at 132.9 earlier on in the race. He's just done a 33.3 and Bidzster's done a 33.4. So both pushing. Bidzster goes onto the gravel a bit. That'll not help him out. As we go to the Lesmo, so round Lesmo 1, then this is the second Lesmo. Callum runs a bit wide there, so does Bidzster, both pushing hard here. Can't quite catch up enough as we come up to Ascari for the last time. Let's keep watching this battle. So Callum into Ascari then for the last time. Just about going to be perfect on fuel, as Callum usually does on strategy. Perfect with the strategies. And so is Bidzster as well. He's going to be perfect on fuel as well. As you come down to the last corner then, I think this is Callum's in the bag unless he throws it away. Bidzster's going to have to go for the king of all lunges if he wants to catch up, but I don't think he's going to. Breaks into the last corner. Callum goes round. So Callum comes out the last corner, and Callum wins race 1 here at Monza. Well done, Callum. He wins the race. Bidzster second place there. Neil Farmack's going to finish in 3rd. Well done to Neil Farmack in 3rd position there in the Toyota. 4th for Jamo after a 2-stop strategy. And TY unfortunately doesn't finish the race, obviously, because he disconnected, unfortunately, there. Task 1's going to finish in 5th in LMP1. Seat 1's going to go around again. Seat 1 is going to go around again, but he's definitely going to win the race because he's going to go around again. So Seat 1 finishes the race. Well, he's going to finish the race in as victory in GT, sorry. So Firepower, a very well-deserved 2nd place there in GTE. Rodders is going to be 3rd from Techno, because Techno's gone backwards there, so Techno makes a mistake. So Rodders then is going to get 3rd for the Aston Martin Durex team. So Durex cars go 2nd and 3rd, 3rd place for Rodders, and then it's Techno in 4th place in class. Not bad there for Techno, and Stacker unfortunately at 5th place in class, last overall. Seat 1 obviously is your winner in GTE, and Task 1 just crossing the line there to finish the LMP1 race. So just while Seat 1's finishing there, we'll get those results confirmed for you now, guys. Okay guys, here's the results from that then. So Callum wins that one, only just from Bidzster after a good battle all race. Well done to them. 3rd place for Neely gets on the podium. Jamo in 4th, and Task 1 finishes in 5th. The winner in GTE is Seek 1, well done to him. 2nd in class there, Firepower. Rodders comes home in 3rd, just behind his teammate. Techno in 4th in class, and 10th in class is Stacker. Fastest lap to Callum, a 1:32.9. So as we come back from that then, there's your winner in Division 2, Seat 1 in the GTE Porsche, and your winner in Division 1, LMP1 is Callum Paulbanks. There he is, well done to Callum, he wins that one. So we'll see you guys next time for race 2. Take care guys.